So you were thinking about moving to Merritt Island. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about that. I have Rachel Langley with me. I am Nichole Barna. We are both with Florida Lifestyle Realty, and we are Space Coast Real Talk. So you want to get into it?
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about it. So Nichole's lived here her whole life. She was born here, raised here. I moved here a couple of years ago. So you're going to get two different perspectives. What it's been like to live here all your life and what it was like to move to Merritt Island. Nichole, what was it like growing up in Merritt Island?
Well, yeah, I mean, to your point, I am born and raised. I haven't lived here my entire life. I did leave for various things, college and whatnot, but most of my life I have been a Merritt Island girl, born on Cape Canaveral Hospital, which is technically Merritt Island. I know, very confusing.
Yes.
So yeah, literally born on the island, just like a small town feel, and I've always felt that way. I've always felt lucky to be here, surrounded by water. Probably took being so close to the beach for granted. Tubing on the river / lagoon.
I grew up in a small town in Connecticut in the middle of nowhere, like landlocked, hour away from the beach. And I was like, I'm never gonna live here again. Like, I was college out. So when growing up in Merritt Island, were you like, I'm not gonna live in Merritt Island for the rest of my life, or you're like, I could live here the rest of my life?
I never had that thought, you know. I knew I always wanted to get out and explore and travel and see new things, and I love things to do. I love cities that have what feels like unlimited things to do for entertainment and whatnot, but I never ruled it out because I love Merritt Island.
Yeah.
I am very proud of where I'm from, and did I necessarily think I'd end up back here? I didn't know, but again, didn't rule it out. What made you decide to come to Florida and Merritt Island specifically?
It was one winter. It was a really bad winter, and my partner, Greg, he was like, Rachel, why are you in such a bad mood all the time lately? And I was like, honestly, you know, I grew up telling myself, I'm going to live somewhere warm. I don't like winters. You know, I just don't like them. I am a summer girl. You know, I love the beach. I love water sports. I do all my activities in the summer, and in the winter I hibernate. So that can get depressing a little bit.
So what made you decide Merritt Island then?
I had went to YouTube, and like we found this guy driving around with his girlfriend, and he drove around the county. We just like kind of wanted to see, you know, what it looked like from that perspective. I love those videos. You know, for me, because I grew up in a small town, I didn't want to live in a big city. Like, Orlando was too big, and I love being near the beach. So it was like I needed to be close to the ocean. A lot of people told us to look at Melbourne. Melbourne, for me, you know, looking back at it, I think Melbourne could have worked perfectly fine because you're so close to the beach anyways, and there's a lot of amenities. But for me, I wanted to be a little bit in a smaller town and somewhere that I thought would have a really nice community, but like beach community. So we decided on Merritt Island, where the prices were a little bit lower, had that beach vibe that we wanted.
Well, I hear it all the time. People know Cocoa Beach for one reason or another, and then
I had never heard of Cocoa Beach.
Really?
Never.
Really? Well, maybe you're not a surfer or a
Definitely
NASA
not a surfer.
enthusiast prior to living here.
No. Couldn't tell you where the rockets launched in Florida.
Yeah.
Just knew it was Florida.
When I travel, a lot of times it's, oh, you're from, is it NASA or is it like Ron John's, right? Like Cocoa Beach is not I Dream of Jeannie. I think that's a little bit of a generational thing. I know it, but
yeah.
I grew up watching Nick at Night. But no, I mean, being serious, it's like Ron John's has a great name here and NASA has a great name here. And so when they think astronauts, they might think Cocoa Beach area.
We have tourists, but it's not too touristy.
That is the feedback I get all the time. We are close to the beach. We have beautiful, various types of water here. You know, lagoon, river, lakes, ocean.
Thousands of species of, you know, different species, animals.
It's awesome.
Yep.
But for those who, like you, maybe they don't know Cocoa Beach. They just know that there's a beach. They start looking into it. They hear about Cocoa Beach. They hear about Cape Canaveral. But they don't want to pay the price tag for those locations, but they still want to be close to the beach. Merritt Island is an awesome option for that because you are 15 minutes maximum going over and hitting, you know, their first beach.
Right.
Actually closer I'm thinking me, because I'm West Merritt Island, closer for you.
For me, I'm 10 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
I guess if it's a little trafficy, I'm 520, which never gets traffic unless there's an accident, maybe, which I've never hit. It's 10 minutes, you know, and it depends where you are in Merritt Island, because if you're in Newfound Harbor, If you're all the way down
Yep.
at the end, that adds another like 10 minutes. So
Merritt Island is so diverse in itself. It's huge.
it's huge. It's actually the longest body of land in Brevard.
If you look at a map and look at Merritt Island, it is huge. It spans pretty much almost the entire beach side. I mean, when you go
all
to the
way
tip
up to Titusville, like all the way to the top of the county.
Yeah. And then when you go down to the tip of Merritt Island on the
Dragon
south.
Point.
Yeah.
Dragon Point.
And you can cross over to the beach. You're in Indian Harbor Beach.
Yeah.
It's so long.
Yes.
But then
so
it gives
really
you
depends.
a lot of variety in types of living too.
Yeah.
Central Merritt Island is next to commercial. It's a mix commercial and residential. North Merritt Island is great for people who are still looking. There's still land out there to be developed. So if you're looking for newer homes or to build more land, it's a great place for that.
Or if you're working at any of the aerospace industries, it's very
So
close to all those
You
big
can roll out of
companies.
bed and into work.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
And then you have southern parts of Merritt Island, which are
Like multi-million
direct-
dollar houses.
Yeah, and direct riverfront properties and canal homes and all of that too.
Yeah.
And then you've got the central but east side of Merritt Island, which is a lot of our canal homes. You know, smaller homes, not direct riverfront, but still relatively affordable waterfront.
And quick boat ride to ocean access.
Right. So we do get a lot of boaters here too. So it's not just the draw for the beach. I get calls all the time for people who are looking for waterfront properties because they're boaters and they want a place to retire and keep their boat and go boating. That's their lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. Merritt Island is the boater capital of Brevard County. Absolutely. If you've got a boat, you probably want to be looking in Merritt Island. Because too, there's only 2 access points to the ocean in Brevard County, and that is Cape Canaveral and Merritt Island. If you look at the map, it's close to that opening. And then it's Sebastian Inlet, which is all the way south of the county.
Yeah.
So you have to be like in Melbourne Beach.
You just have to be very mindful of what is attractive to you because it could be a long boat ride if you're trying to get to the ocean. If you're just cruising, you know, the intercoastal,
the 2 rivers we have,
then it's fine. Anywhere is really fine. Let's go to kind of not the cons, but maybe some of the things that are special about Merritt Island, and that, you know, if you are looking for a brand new home or if you are looking for a lot of land, we kind of spoke to North Merritt Island, but the rest of it, we've got a lot of 1950s, 60s homes here in Merritt Island.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're older homes, and those homes were built kind of when the space industry started, 1960s. Late 1950s, and so they're older homes, and they've gone through hurricanes, storms, you know, all of that, but they do come with a potentially higher insurance rates because they're older. So there are some things to look out for. Say you find a beautiful canal front home, you could put your boat in there, but it's 1960s. What things to look for?
Yeah.
When
I think one of the bigger ones is cast iron plumbing. The fact that you are going to get a smaller square footage unless you're looking to expand or build up or whatever. You are just going to have to be mindful of all the things that come with an older home.
As far as the homes, like mine is 1978, so we were, you know, I was totally fine with that. We have a 1900s home, and it's got cast iron in it in the Northeast. So when people were saying, oh, cast iron down in Florida, I was, you know, originally thinking, that's fine, whatever.
I think the thing to keep in mind is it's not... Just because it's cast iron doesn't mean it's not functioning or that it's bad.
No, but it's a big expense to repair versus...
And it will need to eventually be replaced.
In the Northeast one, even though we were on the ocean, it's less humid, so it's less deterioration, so they last longer. So the reason why I'm saying this, so if you're coming from an area, you might have a cast iron house, might still have like 10, 15 years out of it. The homes in Florida, you probably only have about 5 years left, or it's deteriorating as we speak. So what to know about this is that all these homes are on slabs. So all of the piping is underneath your home in concrete, on a concrete slab. So it is expensive to, you either have to take up the flooring and, you know, redo the piping underneath and then put concrete back over it, or plumbers can reroute the plumbing and put it through the attic and then the side of the houses. So it's not necessarily something to overlook. You can get an amazing home that's 1960s built. It might already have the plumbing already redone, but something to know is that if you do find your home that you love and it has cast iron piping, you might only have 5 years left out of it. And quotes can be $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. So it's something to know ahead of time while you're purchasing a home, because you can possibly negotiate the price down, possibly get a credit, at least get a camera down in your pipe so you know what you're getting into. But anything after, I believe it's 1975, you should be good. Like mine's 1978, we're PVC.
With an older house, typically we see it all the time in Merritt Island because we have so many 1950s, 60s, 70s homes here, is that you really just need to be mindful of the major ticket items. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're not functioning, but you want to pay closer attention to the plumbing, the electrical, the age of the roof, the age of the other mechanicals. But you can still find these really charming, mid-century canal homes that could be a really awesome fit. It doesn't have to be
absolutely
brand new.
That's the thing. There's brand new homes, there's older homes, there's canal front homes that are older and newer. So there is a ton of different types of homes available. So it's a matter of patience finding that perfect home. But there's a different variety, and we even have historical homes down at Dragon Point. I took a drive down there. It was my first time, but I love going down there. I'm going to bring the drone down there. Yeah.
Road to drive in Brevard, going down. There's two, and it's one
Drive.
Of yes, that one is actually my favorite. But for Merritt Island, it is my South Tropical Trail. Just driving down there is one of the best drives in Brevard.
If you're not in a hurry.
If you're not in a hurry. It's one of the things that I remember as a kid doing, driving down there and looking at all of the unique, really awesome, sometimes multi-million-dollar homes.
And some of them are brand new, some of them are older, and
yeah,
it's cool. It's a variety.
It's really cool. So if you ever get a chance to do it, absolutely do it. Yeah, I think it's just cool because I've had so many different buyers for Merritt Island looking at different things, and I've had let's just talk canal homes. I've had someone who bought 1960s canal home original, fixed it up, love it. I've had them buy the same, like a different buyer buy same thing, completely tear it down and build brand new because they wanted that location, they wanted that canal, which is, they're hard to come by. I mean, we're getting less and less availability on the water. Right. And then I've had people who buy and just keep it as is because they love the charm. I have buyers who specifically want original, mid-century, has never been touched. They want that look.
Absolutely. And sometimes they're built to last. A lot of these, almost all of them are concrete block. But that's one of the things I loved about Merritt Island, that I wanted something that wasn't cookie cutter. And you can't get cookie cutter in Merritt Island, and you also have the older homes.
On the topic of having different feels in Merritt Island, like different vibes, I should say, where I live specifically, you feel like you're remote, but then you're a 5-minute drive from Publix. So it has that nice feeling where you're not on top of your neighbor, you don't feel like you're in a city, but you have those conveniences close by.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing, just the accessibility of being in Merritt Island is so great. You're close to grocery stores, Target, Walmart, and then you also are so close to the beach, and then you're also so close to Cocoa Village and Cocoa, two different areas. Cocoa Beach, Cocoa are two different areas, and Cocoa Village is one of the reasons why I chose my house too, was because I was so close to it, and Cocoa Village is so fun and cute and historic.
I spend most of my weekends in Cocoa Village.
Yeah.
You know how much I love Cocoa Village.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It is a draw to me. I love that area. I love being close by. It is an 8-minute drive from my house. But I really wish for Merritt Island to have more of that in Merritt Island too, on the island, because we do have that Merritt Park Place, which is mixed commercial and residential use, and there's some cute places like Bolly Bar there, and I would just love to see that grow a little bit.
Yeah, and there's talks about revitalizing the mall. There's talks about the amphitheater going in the Veterans Memorial Park, but it's talks. It's nothing, concrete, not solid financing. For me, I'm happy the way it is. If it changes or it doesn't, I love living here, and we have the other stuff in the other towns. I see what you're saying, that it'd be nice to have it in your own. So Merritt Island isn't even its own city because it's unincorporated, which is for another video, but basically we're technically a part of the county. We don't have our own,
we're not a city.
We don't have a city hall or town hall. But that's what keeps the taxes low, which is also a really great plus. But that's also why sometimes development can be slower, is because we're not our own city. But like I said, I'm totally fine with it because we're so close to everything else. To wrap this up, we're both foodies. So what's your favorite restaurant in Merritt Island?
In Merritt Island, believe it or not, there's this location that used to be the Ruby Tuesdays in the mall, but it's an awesome Mexican restaurant called Margarita Island. I'm obsessed.
Best skinny margarita I've ever had.
They have they are scooping
So fresh.
watermelon
Yeah.
out
So
of the
good.
watermelon and putting it in your drink
Yeah.
and muddling it. It is divine.
The food's fresh, you know, like the enchiladas are my favorite there.
So what about you? What is yours?
Actually, Margarita Island is probably like my top 3, but I guess my favorite is Alfredo's, which is an Italian restaurant. It's also in a strip mall. But that's
what we
okay.
have here, strip malls.
We have strip malls and houses and canals. But it's really delicious, like homemade pasta. You gotta check out those 2 restaurants. They're both really good. But otherwise, if you're looking for more restaurants, there's also a really good taco place, Mi Mexico Lindo. Really delicious tacos. Otherwise, Cocoa Village has some really, really good restaurants.
The 8-minute drive to Cocoa Village.
Yeah. I think that you get the gist of Merritt Island. We love living here.
I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back and loving it. But yeah, if you have any questions about Merritt Island or anywhere in the Space Coast, feel free to give us a call, shout out, email, text, whatever. Shout out? Carrier pigeon? I don't know.
Just make sure you reach out to us.
Reach out to us
we got your
however
back.
you like to.
Absolutely.
We are Space Coast Real Talk. I am Nichole Barna.
And I am Rachel Langley.
We are from Florida Lifestyle Realty, and join us next time.